We begin the reading of the second book of the Torah this Shabbat, the book of Exodus. And it's a very famous story that we read at the beginning of the book of Exodus, very much in keeping with the beginning of the Passover story, the birth of Moses, and the enslavement of the Jewish people in Egypt. And in trying to encourage Moses to take on the role of leader and a facilitator of bringing the Jewish people out of Egypt, God will have to really convince Moses in a variety of ways that he should really take on this role. And one of the questions Moses asks is, who are you? What is the name that you go by, God? And in answering, God says, thus shall you speak to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov. And many of you will recognize this phrase right from the Amidah, the core prayer of the Siddur. And this is where the Amidah gets that phrasing. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And it's important to recognize that God identifies God's self in this way. It teaches us a lot about our relationship with God, and there are many different interpretations about why the Amidah starts in this way and why God identifies God's self in this way. Part of it is this. We have to recognize that as much as we have a responsibility and an opportunity to forge a relationship, a personal relationship with God, we are part of a people, and we are part of a people with a history. And that history includes not just ourselves, but our ancestors. In fact, maybe we might want to say the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. You might want to add all the other ancestors. In some ways, those are the three original patriarchs, but we know that we have many, many ancestors. And those ancestors have bequeathed to us a relationship with God and a history of the Jewish people. And so when we say the Amidah, and we say, this is who God is, we add ourselves to that list. We see ourselves not only as the result of our ancestors, but also, we hope, as ancestors ourselves to those who will come after us. So we receive a history, and we are part of that history of the Jewish people, and we work to make sure that that history will continue. The flip side of this is a very well-known interpretation, which is God is the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. And each one of those individuals had a different history with God, a different relationship with God that they, on their own, had to establish. And we have to be in that mold, in the sense of creating a new relationship with God, creating a new mold, because it is our responsibility to create that in our relationship with God. So we are not supposed to just mimic our ancestors. We have the opportunity to shape a relationship with God ourselves. We get this from Parashat Shemot, the beginning of the book of Exodus, and I hope you'll have an opportunity to delve into the parsha this Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.